Hello children, today I am going to continue with the topics of moving charges and magnetism. I am going to focus on a new topic, that is Ampere's circuital law. Already we studied Biot-Savart law, so it is the second law in magnetism, that is Ampere's circuital law. Basically it is a mathematical statement, so let us get into the statement first. So what the statement says, the line integral of magnetic field around a closed path is equal to mu naught times the current threading through that closed path. Once again I am going to repeat the statement. The line integral of magnetic field around a closed path is equal to mu naught times the current threading through that closed path. Mathematically let us get into the format. So what Ampere's circuital law states, the line integral, obviously I am going to assume it's a closed loop. Line integral of magnetic field means B vector dot dl vector. You should know dl stands for the line integration of magnetic field around a closed path is equal to mu naught times the current flowing through that closed path. Mu naught times the current flowing through that closed path. Once again, what Ampere's circuital law states? It states that the line integral of magnetic field around a closed path is equal to mu naught times the current threading through that closed path. So let us prove Ampere's circuital law. So in my first case, I am going to prove Ampere's circuital law for a circular path. I am going to prove it for a circular path, and in our next case, we will prove for any arbitrary path. It may be of any irregular shape. So let us get into the proof for a circular path. So I am going to assume, to prove Ampere's circuital law, so I am going to assume a straight conductor. I am going to assume a straight conductor. I am going to mark it as XY. It carries a current I. It carries a current I. You know, due to the flow of current, a magnetic field will be produced. As per Biot-Savart law, whenever a current flows through a conductor, a magnetic field is produced around it. So what I am going to do, I am going to consider a circular path. I am going to consider a circular path around the current carrying conductor. I am going to consider a circular path around the current carrying conductor such that the conductor passes through its center. I am going to mark the center as O. Let R be the radius. I am going to consider a small element of the circular loop. I am going to consider a small element of the circular loop, say PQ. I am going to consider a small element of the circular loop, say PQ, and I am going to mark it as dl. What about the element represented as dl vector? Let B be the magnetic field at point P. Let B be the magnetic field at point P, and you know at the point the magnetic field will be tangential. Obviously the magnetic field will be tangential. So once again, to prove Ampere's circuital law, I considered a straight conductor XY through which a current I flows. Number 2, due to the flow of current, a magnetic field is produced. In order to prove Ampere's circuital law, I am going to consider a circular path such that the center of the circular path passes through the conductor, and let R be the radius of the circular path. Next, I am going to assume a small element of the circular path, say PQ. What about that element is denoted as dl vector. Let the magnetic field B vector at P is as shown, that is it acts tangential. So let us get into the proof. I am going to take the LHS of Ampere's circuital law. What is LHS of Ampere's circuital law? That is B vector dot dl vector. You know this is the LHS. Now since you are able to see from the figure, B and dl are parallel, both the magnetic field and that small element are parallel. So what I can write, this is B vector parallel dl vector. So what I can write, integral B vector dot dl vector can be written as integral B dl. You know cos 0 is 1, so directly I am writing integral, it is B dl. You know what is magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor? Already we derived in Biot-Savart law. It is mu naught by 4 pi 2I by R. So finally what I can say, integral B dl can be written as, put the value of B here, mu naught by 4 pi 2I by R integral dl. This may, in place of b you have put mu naught by 4 pi 2 I by r integral dl. Now you say if dl is the small length of this circular path, what about the total integration of that will be the circumference. So how I can replace this entire value by the circumference value? So what I'm going to get is mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r into what is the circumference is 2 pi r. You are able to see r cancels off, 2 pi 2 times, this 2 cancels. So what is the thing that is left is mu naught I. So you started from integral b dot dl and arrived at mu naught I, and you know this is Ampere's circuital law. So once again, let us get into the proof. What Ampere's circuital law states: the line integral of magnetic field around a closed path is equal to mu naught times the current threading through that closed path. So for proving Ampere's circuital law, I considered for simplicity a circular path. So for that, I considered a straight conductor xy through which a current I flows. Number 2, due to the flow of current, a magnetic field is produced. Now I am going to consider a circular path around the current carrying conductor such that it is centered at O. Let r be the radius of the circular path. I am going to assume a small element of the circular path, that is PQ. What about PQ is dl vector. Let B vector be the magnetic field at P. So from figure it is clear that both B vector and dl vector are parallel. This means what about the angle between them is 0. So how the LHS of Ampere's circuital law gets modified? You are able to see B dot dl can be written as, since B and dl are parallel, I can remove dot product. Ultimately I am going to get B dl. Now already we have derived what is magnetic field due to a straight conductor, that is mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r. So I am going to put in place of B mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r. In integral dl can be replaced with the circumference. On simplification, what I am going to get is mu naught I. This is the proof of Ampere's circuital law when current threads through a circular path. Now let us get into a case in which I am going to assume an arbitrary path. Obviously it is not at all a circular path. I am going to assume it is a arbitrary path of any shape. So how Ampere's circuital law can be proved for that path? Here also I am going to consider, what about a straight current carrying conductor? I am going to mark it as XY through which a current I flows. Once again, due to the flow of current, a magnetic field is produced. I am going to assume an arbitrary path like this. Say it is of an irregular shape, centered at the conductor. I am going to say O is the center. So in order to prove Ampere's circuital law for this type of structure, I am going to divide the circular path into number of small, infinitely small segments. So let us suppose that I am going to assume some segments. Say this is my one segment, say AB. I am going to assume one more segment, say BC, and one more segment, straight segment, I am going to assume CD. You are able to see. Similarly, I can divide the entire path into n number of infinitely small segments. So what about the segments? I assumed only 3 segments, AB, BC and CD. Let their lengths are dl1 vector, let it is marked as dl2 vector, let it is marked as dl3 vector. If I am going to assume this as a segment, let this segment subtends an angle d theta 1 at the center for dl1. Similarly for dl2, say it is d theta 2, and for dl3 it is d theta 3, and so on. So what about the total angle? I can say it will be 2 pi. So what is the first mathematical expression I can get is d theta 1 plus d theta 2 plus d theta 3, and it continues, is equal to what I can write is 2 pi. Mark it as equation number 1. Now if I am going to assume this segments as an arc, I am going to assume this segments, that is AB as an arc, BC as an arc and CD as an arc of radii say R1, R2 and R3. What about the radii? I am going to say the radii R1, R1, R2 and R3. So what I can write for d theta 1? D theta 1 can be written as, you know, angle is arc length by radius. So I can write dl1 by r1. Similarly, what I can write for d theta 2? I can write it as dl2 by r2, and it continues. Like this, it continues. Now, with this basics, I can get into the LHS of Ampere's circuital law. So, what is the LHS of Ampere's circuital law? You know, it is line integral closed loop B vector dot dl vector can be written as, for this case, there are n cases. So, how I can write? It will be B1 vector dot dl1 vector plus B2 vector plus, dot dl2 vector and so on. We are able to see, since B and dl are parallel, you are able to locate at any point, as shown in the last case also, what is the direction of magnetic field is tangential. What about the element is also tangential. Obviously B and dl are parallel. So mathematically dot can be removed directly. So it will be B1 dl1 plus B2 dl2 and it continues. Now what about magnetic field? I think you can write mathematically B1 is mu naught by 4 pi 2I by R1 into dl1. Similarly, write for B2, it will be mu naught by 4 pi 2I by R2 dl2 and you know it continues. Now, what about the thing that can be taken out? Mu naught by 4 pi can be taken out, 2I can be taken out. What is left is dl by R1 plus dl by R2 and this continues. You are able to see what is dl by R1 is d theta 1, dl by R2 is d theta 2. So mathematically what I can write is, can use this part, it will be mu naught by 4 pi into 2I, can be written as, for dl by R1 I can write d theta 1, for dl by R2 I can write d theta 2 and it continues. You are able to see. Next, obviously you are able to see d theta 1 plus d theta 2, it leads to 2 pi. So this entire term can be replaced by 2 pi. So mu naught by 4 pi 2I into 2 pi. Can simplify the case. It will be 2 pi 2 cancels off. So what is the thing left is, it is very clear, mu naught I. So you started from B vector dot dl vector and arrived at mu naught I. So this is the proof for any arbitrary closed path around a current carrying conductor. So let us get into the proof once again. We are supposed to prove Ampere's circuital law for an arbitrary path. We are supposed to prove Ampere's circuital law for an arbitrary path. For that, what is the consideration? We considered a straight conductor XY through which a current I flows. Number 2, due to the flow of current, a magnetic field is produced. Number 3, I am going to divide the entire circular path into large number of infinitely small segments. What about the segments marked as AB, BC, CD and so on? What about the length of those segments? DL1, DL2, DL3 and so on. What are the angles subtended at the center by those segments? D theta 1, D theta 2, D theta 3 and so on. Now, how to start? One more assumption. What about the radius of each segment? If I am going to assume they form an arc as R1, R2, R3 and so on. So how to start? What about the sum total of all the angles, that is d theta 1 plus d theta 2 plus d theta 3? Obviously it will lead to 2 pi. I am going to mark it as equation number 1. Next, if I am going to assume each segment as an arc, what about the first case? What about d theta 1? Obviously it is for OAB. D theta 1 can be written as arc length by radius. What is arc length is dl1. What about the radius of that segment is r1. Similarly, what about d theta 2 for the next segment is dl2 by r2 and it continues. Now, I am going to take the LHS of Ampere's circuital law, that is closed loop line integral of magnetic field, that is B dot dl, can be written as the first case B1 vector dot dl1 vector. Similarly, for the second segment B2 vector dot dl2 vector and it continues. Since B and dl are parallel, you are able to see I had removed the dot product. So B1 dl1, B2 dl2 and so on. Now, what is magnetic field due to a straight conductor? We know it is mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r. Here the only variable is r1. So all the other things remain same. Mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r1 into dl1. Mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r2 into dl2 and it continues. We are able to see what is the thing that is taken as common. Mu naught by 4 pi 2I can be taken out. What are the things left? dl by r1, dl by r2, all those things are left. Mathematically dl by r1 is d theta 1, dl by r2 is d theta 2. So if I'm going to replace this, the equation looks like mu naught by 4 pi 2i d theta 1 plus d theta 2, and it continues. Now what is the sum of d theta 1 plus d theta 2? Leads to a total of 2 pi. So when I'm going to put and simplify, what is the result I'm going to get is mu naught I. So this is our Ampere's circuital law. Now let us get into the applications of Ampere's circuital law. So before getting into the application, once again I'm going to make a recap of what is Ampere's circuital law. What Ampere's circuital law states? It states that the line integral of magnetic field, that is B vector dot dl vector, is equal to mu naught times the current threading through that path. Mu naught times the current threading through that path, that is integral closed loop B vector dot dl vector is equal to mu naught I. We proved first for a circular path, then we proved for a arbitrary path. Now let us get into the first application of Ampere's circuital law, that is to find magnetic field due to a straight wire, or I can say a current carrying conductor. So obviously just I am going to do the inverse of what we did in the proof. I am going to just make a reverse process. There we used the value of magnetic field, that is B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2i by r, to prove Ampere's circuital law. Here I am going to use Ampere's circuital law to derive B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2i by r. The consideration, the process, everything remains same. So how to start? Our aim is to find magnetic field due to a straight current carrying wire. So I'm going to assume a straight conductor. Say it carries a current I from x to y. It carries a current I from x to y. You know, due to the flow of current, a magnetic field is produced around the conductor. Now obviously I am going to consider a point P, say at a distance r, where the magnetic field due to this straight wire has to be determined. So I am going to assume a closed circular path around point P such that the conductor is centered at O. Once again, I am going to consider a point P at a distance r where the magnetic field is to be determined. So what I am going to do with respect to P, I am going to make a closed circular path around the conductor. So for a proper representation of diagram, I am going to draw the circular loop first. I am going to draw the circular loop. So I am going to consider a point P, say it is at a distance r from center O. Obviously how the conductor is? The conductor passes through that circular path. P is the point of observation, say where the magnetic field is B vector. Where the magnetic field is B vector, that we are supposed to calculate. Now I am going to assume a small element of the conductor, say PQ. I am going to assume a small element of the conductor and I am going to mark it as dl vector. I am going to mark it as dl vector. So we are able to see B and dl are parallel. We are able to see already in the proof also we said what about the direction of magnetic field and that small element, they are parallel. Obviously the angle between them is 0. So once again we considered a straight conductor XY through which a current I flows. My location to find the magnetic field is P, which is at a distance r. Now to apply Ampere's circuital law, I am going to draw a circular path through P such that r is the radius and the conductor is centered at O. Now what about the magnetic field that is to be determined is B at point P. What is the consideration? I considered a small element of the circular path PQ. What about that length is dl vector, and how B and dl, they are parallel. So what is the first information that I can extract from the figure is B vector parallel dl vector. We are able to see B vector parallel dl vector, that is theta is equal to 0. For that I can use the Ampere's circuital law. What is Ampere's circuital law? B vector dot dl vector is equal to mu naught I. I'm going to mark it as equation number 1. Now what is the nature of B and dl? B and dl are parallel, that is the angle is 0. So directly I can remove the dot, because you know when the dot is removed it will be B dl cos theta, and I am going to put cos 0, it will be 1. So what is the left out is B dl only. So what I can do it is, B can be assumed to be constant because the value of B remains same at each and every point of the circumference. So that can be taken out of the integral and it can be written as B dl is equal to mu naught I. Now what is dl? Once again, already we said if dl is the small length, what about the total length is the circumference. So b into 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I. I want b, so b is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. Make a small modification in the standard form. Can be written as mu naught by 4 pi into 2I by r. I just multiplied and divide by 2 to get a standard form that we are using right from the Biot-Savart's law. So once again, what is our first application of Ampere's circuitry law? To find magnetic field due to a straight wire or a straight current carrying wire or a straight current carrying conductor. So what is our assumption? I assumed a conductor XY through which a current I flows. Due to the flow of current, a magnetic field is produced. Now P is the point of observation at a distance r where the magnetic field is to be determined. So to apply Ampere's circuitry law, we know a closed circular path has to be assumed. So I'm going to assume a circular path of radius r such that the conductor passes through the center of that circular path. What about the magnetic field at P is B vector. In addition, what we assumed? I assumed a small element of the circular path, that is PQ. What about the value is dl vector. So from the figure it is very clear that B vector and dl vector are parallel, or the angle between them is 0. And that is the main fact that we are going to use in Ampere's circuitry law. Now we are able to see, we started from Ampere's circuitry law, that is B vector dot dl vector equal to mu naught I, mark it as equation number 1. Now if B and dl are parallel, so obviously the dot product can be easily removed. B as it is constant, you are able to see the magnitude of the magnetic field, you are able to see the direction will always be parallel to the small element. And what about the magnitude? It remains same at each and every point of the circumference. In that case, B can be taken out of the integral. So what is the thing that is left is integral over the closed loop, dl is left. RHS I am going to retain as such, that is mu naught I. Now what about integral closed loop dl? Obviously if this is the small dl, what about the total integration of this entire length will be the circumference. So what about the circumference? What I can write is 2 pi r. Make a shift, so B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. Multiply and divide by 2 to get the standard form. So it will be mu naught by 4 pi 2I by r is the magnetic field due to a straight wire. With this I'm going to get into my second application. So what the second application says, let us get into our second application of Ampere's circuitry law. Here we are going to find magnetic field due to a solenoid. Here we are going to find magnetic field due to a solenoid. So you know what is a solenoid? Solenoid is basically a helical loop. Solenoid is basically a helical loop of insulated wire such that the characteristic parameter is the length of the solenoid is much greater than the diameter. So once again, any helical loop cannot be termed as a solenoid. To be very clear, what is the constructional property? The length of the solenoid or the length of the helical loop must be much greater than the diameter. So that type of helical loop can be termed as a solenoid. So you are able to see a wire is round in a helical loop on a cylindrical frame. So once again, when current flows through a solenoid, what happens? What about the magnetic field produced? We are going to obtain. So once again, what is the consideration? I am going to consider a solenoid having n number of turns per unit length. What about the number of turns per unit length is n, through which a current I flows. Through which a current I flows. You know, due to the flow of current, a magnetic field is produced. So you should know, in a solenoid, the magnetic field is uniform only well inside the solenoid. What about the uniformity of magnetic field? It exists well inside the solenoid, and my aim is to find that magnetic field. So let us suppose that. What is the magnetic field well inside the solenoid? I am going to mark it as B vector, and it is parallel to the length of the solenoid. Obviously the magnetic field will be parallel to the length of the solenoid. So what is the property I am saying? What about the uniformity of magnetic field? The magnetic field is uniform well inside the solenoid, and also inside it becomes parallel to the length of the solenoid. So our aim is to find what is the value of B. So once again, we know in order to apply Ampere's circuitry law, we are going to consider a closed path. So I am going to consider a closed path. So obviously you are able to see it's a rectangular closed path. It's a rectangular closed path. I am going to mark it as A, B, C, C, D. What about the length? Let the length AB is equal to capital L. I am assuming what about the length AB is equal to L. So once again, I considered a solenoid having n number of turns per unit length through which a current I flows. Due to the flow of current, a magnetic field is produced. What about the magnetic field? The uniformity will be well inside the solenoid, and also the magnetic field will be parallel to the length of the solenoid, say at this location, and I want to find the magnetic field. So to apply Ampere's circuital law, I am going to consider a rectangular path ABCD such that the length AB is equal to L. Now we can get into the format of Ampere's circuital law, that is, you know, B vector dot dl vector is equal to mu naught I. This is the basic form of Ampere's circuital law. So let us modify this law for this situation. So you are able to see what about the modification. The LHS, I am going to modify it as, it will be for the closed path ABCD. So obviously it will be for the closed path ABCD. So I am going to break it. It is from A to B. Obviously the closed path will break A to B, B dot dl plus, make a cycle, B to C, B dot dl plus C to D, B dot dl, and the last one D to A, B dot dl is equal to, now focus on the RHS. You are able to see mu naught I is the current threading through one turn only. So you are able to see there are n number of turns, I said. There are n number of turns for a length L. So what about the total current threading will be NL times. So how the RHS modifies? It will be mu naught NLI. It will be mu naught NLI. Mark it as equation number 1. Once again, what are the modification in Ampere's circuital law? LHS modifies as, it is for the loop A, B, C, D, A. So I split the loop, A to B, B dot dl, B to C, B dot dl, C to D, B dot dl, D to A, B dot dl is equal to, what about the RHS modification? You know, mu naught I is for one turn. The total number of turns per unit length is n. It is acting for a length L. So what about the current threading will be mu naught NLI. Yeah, NL times mu naught I. So what I can write is mu naught NL. I mark it as equation number 1. RHS is in its completed form, so we are not going to touch it. Only we are going to do modifications in the LHS. Now, you are able to see, let us speak about the case. Two perpendicular cases you can see. One is B to C, B dot dl. You are able to see, this is B to C, B dot dl. And the another is D to A, B dot dl. You are able to see D to A, B dot dl. This means B to C, this term. And the last one, D to A, B dot dl. You are able to see B to C and D to A, they are perpendicular to the magnetic field. So the contribution of this term and this term will be 0. And also CD is well outside the solenoid. You are able to see CD is also well outside the solenoid. I can neglect the contribution of that part also. So obviously 3 parts we eliminated. B to C, C to D and D to A. So what is the effective value left is only one term, A to B, B dot dl is equal to mu naught NLI. Now B can be taken out, you know, B and dl are parallel. DL, obviously it is a small length, will be the total length AB. So dl can be written as L into mu naught NLI. L cancels off. What I am going to get is B is equal to mu naught NI. So once again, we started from Ampere's circuital law, B dot dl equal to mu naught I. We modified B dot dl into 4 segments. The effective part is only A to B, B dot dl. A to B, B dot dl is replaced as BL. And what about mu naught I is replaced as mu naught NLI. On both sides you are able to see LL cancels off. What about B is mu naught NI. And this is the case for magnetic field due to a solenoid. With this, I am going to end my session. Take care of yourself.